actually know them as the Fenians. The nickname for them was the Fenians. Okay? They were called Clon the Nail in the US, headquartered in New York and later Springfield, Massachusetts. What they basically done in America was raise lots of money to send it over to fight the rebellion. Okay, basically the nutshell. Okay, that's what they got. But the IRB were brilliant at one thing. They were revitalised all around Ireland by two of the main leaders, Thomas J. Clarke and Sean McDermott. Went around, revitalised them in all the local towns. What they were brilliant at is one thing: join all the cultural groups and start pulling the strings of the cultural groups. So they joined the Irish language groups, the sporting groups. But the main thing for them, the manna from heaven for them, was this group called the Irish Volunteers, which was kind of this random volunteer army that marched around Dublin on Sunday, okay, to fight for home rule. But the IRB were saying, no, oh yes, we're here to fight for home rule. We'll go in, we'll take control of this army under the noses of people inside there, and we'll make this army come out and fight in the 1916 rebellion, which is exactly what they did. They kept secrecy to such an extent that there was people in the IRB and in the Irish Volunteers that did not know the rebellion was happening on Easter Monday when they came out on Easter Monday. They actually thought they were going for their usual march around Dublin or whatever they were doing, okay? So it was kind of like, FYI guys, this is the real deal, okay? So it was kept that secret, okay? It was, and they had to do it that way. It's the reason, though, why the rebellion was called off for Easter Sunday, because one of the leaders, a guy called Owen MacNeil, he found out that the rebellion was on. He was still a radical guy, but he didn't want a suicide mission. He felt guilty that if all these young people were going to go out and get killed and they didn't have a chance of winning, he said we should only go out if we have a chance, A, or B, if England attacks us first. That means England tries to put conscription on Irish boys like they had done in England, Scotland and Wales. Then we have a reason, and a valid reason. We don't do a preemptive strike. The leaders, Sean McDermott and Thomas J. Clarke and Patrick Pearse, said, no, we'll have the rebellion, and even if we fail, which in fairness we probably will, we'll wake the population of Ireland up. So in that instance, they were perfect. But the build-up to rebellion, because it was kind of called off, it was on, it was off, it was on, it was off, it got messed up a lot. The number one thing that happened, or the issues that happened, were down in Kerry, okay? County Kerry in the southwest of Ireland. You have to be very careful if you're talking about this, if someone is from Kerry. They get very sensitive about it, okay? So I don't think anyone's here in Kerry adversary. I think we can go ahead. It happened on Good Friday, 3 days before Easter, okay? I call it Bad Friday. So what happened was everything that could go wrong went wrong. We call it Murphy's Law in Ireland, okay? Number one thing that happened was the Americans in New York, the American Irish, had paid for a shipment of guns to come to Ireland for the rebellion. 25,000 rifles they've bought off the Germans, okay? And that was coming over. That's okay. We know with the Germans, they're unlike the Irish, they usually arrive on time. Or they do the rare Irish thing where they actually arrive early, okay? And I always say with the Irish, early never works. You know, on time or late is fine. Early just doesn't work in Ireland, people don't like us. The Germans come on Holy Thursday night, which is 4 days before Easter Sunday. The Irish in Kerry aren't expecting them until Sunday. So when the ship comes off the coast of Kerry with all the guns, there's literally no Irish volunteers or IRB to see the ship, okay? The only people that do spot us on Good Friday / Bad Friday is the British Navy. And they tow the boat or push it into Cork Harbour, where the German captain has no choice but to scuttle the ship, blow a hole in the ship and sink it to the bottom of Cork Harbour, where it's still down there today with the 25,000 rifles. So that messed up the rebellion big time in the south and west of Ireland because they had no guns to fight us. Okay. Second bit of bad luck is the guy who organised all these guns was a guy called Sir Roger Casement. He got his knighthood for helping or to expose the slave trade in Peru and the Belgian Congo. Okay, that was Sir Roger Casement. The rubber plantations is what he was exposing. So he got a knighthood for that. But then, because of that, he became anti-colonialist. He didn't like empires, basically. So he wanted to help his mates of Ireland. And so he came over on a German submarine just behind the ship. He washed up on the beach in Kerry, nearly drowned on the way, and was literally picked up by a policeman and literally sent to the Tower of London. Okay, so that was the end of Roger Casement and his part. The third bit of bad luck comes in threes, my granny used to say. The third bit of bad luck is the guys who were sent from Dublin in a motor car to meet all these people down in Kerry. They took a wrong turn and drove off a cliff drove off a cliff and drowned. Okay, so you couldn't off a clear base, but you couldn't make this stuff up. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. So on Holy Saturday, the day before Easter Sunday, when the British authorities in Dublin Castle discovered what happened, they said, whatever these people had planned, not going to happen anymore. Let's go to England on our holidays, which most of them did do, in fairness, for Easter Sunday. So basically the whole thing is off. Because of that, lots of people wanted to call off the rebellion, and Owen MacNeill, one of the leaders of the Irish Volunteers, called it off in the national newspapers. Patrick Pearse then said, look, we're all probably going to be arrested on Tuesday when everyone comes back from their holidays, and your bank holiday Monday is the day after Easter, so let's just have the rebellion on Monday, one day later, which they did. And one day later, the 24th of April 1916, the rebellion starts. First shots are fired in Dublin Castle, about a kilometre down the street here. The next shots are fired in the GPO over here on O'Connell Street. The students, though, in this complex, when they hear about the shooting, they leave their dormitories, which are still dormitories here and down here, and they run out and barricade the two front gates we just walked in. They're the original doors and gates that we walk in there. They're over 150 years there. They barricade them to stop any pesky rebels getting in here. The students also get guns, and they go up on the roof here with guns to stop any rebels coming in here, okay? Students with guns, by the way, not unusual. Everyone was learning how to shoot in 1916. If you were 10 years old in the Boy Scouts, you'd be learning how to shoot in 1916. Irish kids think that's amazing because our guards, our police force aren't even armed today, okay? So they never see guns, so they think it's amazing that they had so many guns back then. But they had an armament here, so the students would want to protect this building. As I said, it's a strongly loyalist unionist college, I should say, and it had been, because for a few hundred years of its existence, Catholics were not allowed to come to university here, okay? They were banned, which is 75% of the population, okay? And which 75%, and let me see. Oh yeah, and if you take away Ulster, it's about 95% of the population is Catholic. So the majority of people couldn't go to university here, so it had that big bad reputation of Trinity College. Up until, then they allowed Catholics in 1900s, but the Catholic Church banned Catholics from coming here, okay? So up until 1971, that's 1971, you're not hearing me wrong, you had to get permission from your Catholic bishop if you wanted to come to university in Trinity College. So I had that stigma. Even to this day, this is my last insult to Trinity, I just can't help myself. It's a UCD thing, okay? My last dig at Trinity is, if you look above the triangular tympanum there, behind the clock, you'll see an empty flagpole. Trinity College still don't fly the Irish tricolour, even 100 years later. It's like symbolically empty. So they fly us on St. Patrick's Day, and they fly us when a tragedy happens in the world, and the government tells them they have to fly the flag at half-mast. They put up a flag to fly the half-mast. Otherwise, it's symbolically empty. So you can see how the hangover of history still survives in Trinity College. I swear, sorry if anyone went to Trinity, I'll stop now. So that was all kind of part. So you can see they're not going to be supportive. Students are really bad shots. So why the Tuesday? The British Army are in here and they're taking over this place, and they're saying, we're going to look after this. Go away, students. You can't shoot a gun to save your life. This entire complex here, which there's pictures online of this, becomes a British Army base during the 1916 rebellion. By the end of Easter week, you have 1,500 rebels versus 20,000 British soldiers. Most of them are new recruits sent in from England on the ship, okay? And they all base themselves here. Some of them sleep on the grass here. If you're higher ranking, you have to sleep in the beds in the dormitories, okay? So, and they use this area to attack the Irish rebels, north side O'Connell Street, south side Stephen Street. So it's a very strategic point to the British. Now, before we leave, just really quickly, because I think it's noisy outside, just the aftermath. Do you think the citizens living around Dublin were all going, yes, just what I wanted on my bank holiday Monday morning? Or do you think they are not so happy? Can be honest.
No.
Not happy. And you kind of couldn't blame them because they didn't know what the hell was going on. And you know, if you're going to get shot getting a loaf of bread or a bottle of milk, you are not going to be too happy, okay? If your husband or your son is in the British Army, which lots of the working class of Dublin had at least one family member in the British Army, you were getting their wages, called a separation allowance, basically, from the post office network. Guess what happens? Post office network shuts down, they can't get their money. So they're literally starving by the end of the week. Also, the pensioners can't get their old age pension. and they're a demographic you don't want to pee off, the old age pensioners. So there's a lot of people very angry. By the end of the week, the British are using artillery shells, which cause a lot of fire. So if your house is burning down in the fire, or your business, you're also not going to be too happy. You're going to be blaming the rebels, okay? But the key to 1916 is this changes within 1 week. 2 weeks, especially after the third week of the rebellion, the public has swung opinion. For a few key reasons. The British execute 16 people afterwards. It's an easy one to remember, 1916. 14 in Dublin, in Kilmainham jail, 1 in Cork, 1 in London. And it's not a huge lot, but it's the kind of a loss of brand new Irish martyrs, shall we say. There was also the rebels' background. A lot of them are barristers and poets and teachers. They had a university education, professors. People said, actually, these guys aren't so much lunatics. They're actually really educated. And they're in the top percentile of people living in Dublin. So why are they sacrificing their good lives and their good jobs for this? Maybe they've got a point here, fair play to them. They also compliment that they fought a clean fight. They fought within the rules of war. That was another compliment paid to them. You also had some of the stories come out, especially Joseph Plunkett's story. He was allowed to get married to his fiancée in prison, Grace Gifford. And Grace became a fiancée, a wife, and then a widow in about 5 or 6 hours during distance. So yeah, there's a love story thrown in. That was like a Hollywood one would be. The British arrested 3,500 people in turn without trial. 1,000 more even took part in the rebellion, from every single county in Ireland, and 9 people. The transcripts of the court-martials against the rebels were meant to be released in 1916. They weren't released until 1999. Okay, so I can see how it was a kind of cover-up thing. 15 young boys and men were separated from their families in their homes in North King Street in Dublin. They were nothing to do with the rebellion, but all the males in the households were shot by the Staffordshire Regiment. They were nothing to do with the rebellion, and this was considered a big scandal. Also a famous pacifist in Dublin, a feminist called Frances Sheehy Skeffington. Frances Sheehy Skeffington took his wife's name when he got married. That's how much he was into girl power. You don't even see much Irish men taking their wife's name 100 years later. But he was executed for no reason either. So all these stories came out slowly but surely and changed public opinion. The other thing was, if you think about it, the shells and the fires that were spread by the shelling, a lot of people living in those houses had one husband or son in the British Army. And now they're saying, wait a second, my husband are fighting for these guys in Belgium and France, and now they're now shelling my house. How does this make sense? They're trying to kill me, so all this came out of the woodwork and slowly but surely changed the pendulum. Exactly what the rebel leaders wanted to achieve. Our next stop is going to be out here. We're going to be a lot quicker. We're just going to go to the